Hello and welcome, everybody. Let's get this started. I am here. Welcome, Bruce Jones here, and welcome to the Create Your Own Workbook, um, uh, your own workbooks, checklist, and journals masterclass. This is the opening. My course is open. Just make sure everything is up and running here on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And yep, looks like everything is going good. So welcome and thank everybody who's coming. Oh, Krista, thank you. Oh, we got some people here. All right, let's put her up and show right there. All right, we've got Krista Thornton in the house. Thank you very much for joining us today. Should be a fun session. So make sure I have everything going good here. As I'll do all the things everybody says, which is to make sure all your distractions are gone and your phone is off. My phone is over there, and this should be fun. So today we're going to be doing, this is the opening of my course. I pre-launched it. Here, let me just do this. I pre-launched it about 3 weeks ago, and that was a success. And I did it completely different this time. I had no content when I launched the course, and you kind of launch and see what happens. And people jumped in, and that was fantastic. And that was just a lot of fun to do it. And then I've had 3 weeks to create everything. So today you're going to see the result of that. And then at the end of this presentation, I have an offer on the course with special pricing and stuff. So we'll do that when we get to the end. But it's been a lot of fun. I wrote a short book in here, put together another book. I shot all the videos, the templates, all that kind of stuff. So why don't we just get jumping in here, and I can start showing you what we have. And let's just turn off. Let's see here. I can hide that, make more room, and that's pretty good. All right. And if you have comments or questions, just put them in the comment below. That'd be great. And there is a link at the end. You'll see there's a link up on the page somewhere down below, up above for the course. And you'll match this 20 people in there already. So that's really cool. And we're limiting it to 50. All right, so today what we're going to do is talk about, learn how to create your own workbook, checklist, and journal. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I've been doing the last 3 weeks, putting this together and show you how you guys can do it. So it's going to be creating your own workbooks, checklist, journal, and these are based on your current books, coaching, consulting, and teaching. So that's what I'm going to be teaching about, is looking at your content, look at the stuff you made, and see if you can pull out a workbook, which I am sure you can. There's tons of it in there, and it's fairly easy to do. I have some great examples here, and I'll be talking about some case studies that are coming up. So it should be fun. So you can look at your own books, and you can kind of pull out, and as I said, we'll be showing some examples of that. Just give it a little bit about me, and let's put this over here. And I'm Bruce Jones, and I'm the creator of this group, the How to Publish a Book Facebook group. I'm a 35 years as a graphic designer with probably over 8,000 projects of every kind of thing you can imagine I've designed. I've authored or created over 50 books, publisher, and a product creator. So I've done it all. And I'm standing here with, there he is. Oops, where it is. Standing here with Elvis. That was recently down in Nashville, and I got to see Elvis. He's a little stiff these days, but it was fun to see him. So that was cool. So that's who I am, and that's what we're going to do. And what I'm going to try to show you or talk about, and the reason I think this is going to be pretty cool, and you're going to see some examples of that's been successful for me, is that by taking your book or your content, your coaching, your lessons, you can create bigger and broader products. You can create a bundle. You can create things that you can sell for more money than the book. I was at a presentation a number of years ago, and it was eye-opening. It was out in California, and a guy got up on stage and was showing a book. So we just had a book. There's a book here. Here, like this. He said, "So okay, so this book is worth $9.95 or $14.95." And then he went, if you take this book and you cut off the spine and put a spiral binding on it, this book is now $49.95. It's a perceived value that there's a lot more going on with your book if it's something you can do with it. So one of the messages I'm going to try to talk about today is taking your book that you did and it's finished and it's already here and expand it and pull out of it all kinds of great content that you have actually already written and done and thought about. And if you don't have a book, that's cool too, because you do the same thing in your coaching, consulting. If you're a teacher, teachers have lesson plans, and you can take those lesson plans and expand them out, put them into a document, add some lines or some space, and you can create a workbook. Every coach or consultant has a process that they walk through with their clients in some manner, and you can write that process down and you can turn it into something. So you now have an extra piece that you can sell, you can send out, you can use as a lead mag. So that's my message of why this is important and how you can kind of pull all this stuff together and give yourself more products already based on your existing products. You're not coming up with something new, you're just giving it some order and such. So that's what I'm talking about here, and that's what I want you to think about as we kind of move through this presentation. So let's just talk a little bit about some different kinds of workbooks. So there's workbooks, there's journals, there's checklists. I'm just going to kind of use the word workbook, but it covers a broad range of things. So let me just show you some examples. These are some of them on the screen here. Let me show you some that I've done. And so this is one of them. This is one of my books, The Self-Publishing Secrets. This is my publishing, create, publish, and launch your book. This is all my thoughts here and put into one book, and I've sold different versions of this book. And a little while ago, I went and pulled, there's a lot of sort of checklists in here and things like this, that you can guide through and making covers. And I pulled out and created a checklist. So this is a book that's just, you'll notice, it's just checklists and things to fill in, spaces for notes, some resource information. It's a workbook. You can lay out your children's book, it's sort of storyboarded out. So it's just an example. This, and I'll be talking as we move into this presentation, this is delivered as a PDF. I never printed this. I should. It's basically ready to go. But this is downloaded. People buy this online, and then they can download it as a PDF and print it out. Or I suppose if I sort of push it out there, I could put lines in here. I can go make a printable, a form-based PDF where you could fill this in. So this is a workbook. It's a good example of one. So I have that one. I have another one here from my friend Ed Gaskin, and we'll be talking about him later. He created this book, which is used for teen girls in discussion groups about youth gangs, and it's called Latanya, Gangs, Girls, and Guns. It's about some difficult issues of teen girls and relating to gang stuff. He put some questions in the back, which a lot of people do in their book, and they're right here. And then he pulled them out, and he formed a workbook. And then he formed a leader book to go with the workbook. So this is a leader book that has resource materials and the questions. You can see them in there, questions in here. So this is a pretty big undertaking, but this is a workbook, and he published this book up on Amazon, and it's now part of a bundle package that he can sell the book, he can sell the workbook that goes with the discussion groups, and then he can sell the leader book. So this is a good example of a workbook. Another thing I did is this was one of my first books, Essential Chords, Guitar, Ukulele, and Banjo. And at the back of the book, to kind of fill it out, I added some pages that you can write on. So I have pages of sheet music in here. I have all kinds of stuff that's in here that you can do, kind of fill it out. And one day I took these sheet music pages and pulled them out, made 100 of them, and put them into this book. And this is a book for writing sheet music. This is a sheet music or song workbook. So you can write your songs in here. And this sells on Amazon. And I have, I think, 3 of these different kinds of books, 3 of these. And this is very popular. This is one of my best-selling books. And I've been selling this since 2012. And it's generally always in the sort of the bestseller ranks. And so this is a kind of a cool thing. This is another kind of a workbook where I'm repurposing content. That's one of my messages, is for you guys to think about. Oh, Gospel's here. Let me just put her in here. Gospel's been very nice to me. She did a wonderful interview with me when I was launching another book. So there's Gospel. Thank you. And I think you're coming in from England, if I am not mistaken. That's where you are. So hello, and thank you for joining. So this is just a workbook, and workbooks can be printed like this. They can be PDFs. They can also be single sheets, and I'll come to that in a little bit. That we sometimes think of books like this as books, but they don't have to be books. They can be PDFs. They can be single sheets. There can be 3 or 4 sheets, that kind of thing. Another example is Brenda Sullivan's book. She's in our group, and she created. Here, let me make this bigger so you guys can see. She created this book, and it's done with her daughter. And it has gardening information up at the front, so different kinds of things you can do about getting your gardening going. And the back of the book is you can fill in just sort of what's happening with your garden. So this is a great workbook. You can call them a journal, you can call them a checklist, you can call them a workbook. It's all kinds of stuff. So just another example of a workbook. And I have some others here, but I think you get the message that it's a wide variety. In fact, I think if you look around your office, your home, here's your office, you will find lots of workbooks. You get them, or worksheets, or that kind of thing. You'll get them when you go to a conference. So, oh yes, here she is. Yeah, she's from England, looking forward. So tomorrow, anybody who's joined into the class, who's a member, and Gospel is, we're doing a live Zoom call at 3 o'clock. And instead of just a lecture, it's going to be one-on-one, asking questions, looking at things, and trying to help people figure out how to create their workbook. So it should be fun. Anybody who's in, you'll get a link. The Zoom link will come out tomorrow, and we'll be doing that. So that's cool. Great. Thanks. I'm looking forward to having you in the class. That should be a lot of fun. So, so that's just types of workbooks that you can make. Let me get this over here. All right. So what I want you to do this is sort of secret number 1. This is my in the material that I have that you can download. Is I have a video in there called "The Hidden Treasures in Your Content," and this is where I want you to look and think about your content. So we write books of all kinds. We have coaching, consulting. We might just be teaching a class on something, teaching painting, or teaching gardening, or anything like that. And in that is all kinds of hidden stuff. So I want you to look into your book. Now, some books are written with questions in the back of them. So when Ed Gaskin wrote his book, he put in 34 discussion questions that are right here in the back of the book. So to create the workbook was fairly easy. You could just take those questions out, put them in a separate book, put some space between them, put some lines, and he was good to go. But a lot of people do that with their books, end of each chapter or in the chapters. But also in your books, you highlight, if you don't have the question, you at least have steps. Usually this is on the business books, how-to books, self-improvement books, how-to, those kinds of books. You're leading people from A to B, trying to get them to do something, a change in their life, a transformation, moving something. And you can take those steps that you've done, and then you can turn them into questions that people can write down and journal what they're doing, or their checklist of steps. Preparing for this class, I wrote this book a few years ago. This is my book marketing checklist, and I didn't even realize the whole book is basically checklists. And so, let me just do this. Like so, I can turn that into a workbook of things that you need to do as you're marketing your book. So I have it even in my own books. If you're a consultant or a coach, as I said, there's a process that you take people through. You're teaching them something, you're exploring something, you're trying to figure out a problem. There are the same questions that come over and over in there. And you can write those questions down. You can write those things down. You can write the tasks down. You can write the resources down. All that stuff can be put into a document that becomes a second book. It's a second thing that you can sell, something you can give away, something to help close the sale, something to initiate a conversation. There's lots of uses to do that. How do you get started? Well, if you have a book, which is the easiest way, you've done it. Look at your table of contents. Those are the big points. Those are the top 10 things, the 12 things, the 20 things, however many chapters. Write them down, and then start going into your book and pull out what are the steps you're taking people through? Can you take a statement and flip it around and turn into a question? So I know some of the stuff I had done. Let me just pull this up. Like here's a section on how to make a video. So I just write video title, have a good descriptive video title, include your main keyword. So I could flip that around and say, write down several keywords that fit for your video. Go into Google, research and find some videos. The next part of that question could be write a good descriptive title, or write down 5 descriptive titles and work your keywords in. So it's easy just to give it a twist, flip it around, and you have a workbook that you can just take and kind of do. If you're a consultant, coaching, you're teaching, again, you have steps. Just start writing down. Watch what you do. One of the things that I tell people to do when they're trying to create a book, and it works for this, is everybody knows you have one main question you get asked all the time. Just write that question down. You can do it now. Take a piece of paper out. What is the number one question you get asked all the time? And don't think too hard. Don't try to edit in your head. Just put that question down and just whatever it is. Okay, so you've got it. You wrote one sentence, just one question. Now write the second question you get all the time. If you don't know what they are, carry a little notebook with you and write down every question you get for a month. Everything that is asked of you, just put it down, whatever it is. At the end of the month, pull out that little notebook or that piece of paper or the pad by your phone and organize them and see how they group. And now you'll go, oh, look at that. I get asked this question 6 times a day. I didn't even think about it. And this one is 3 times a day. That's where you can start to build your workbook from, of developing questions around these different topics. So it's there. You're living it. It's all around you. You just have to kind of put it together, and you can make a book. So planning your coaching, teaching workbook is basically the same thing. It is as you are doing this job, whatever this job is, start to think about what will those questions be and kind of put them together. So. Started the course. Oh, good. Winnie's in the house. Started the course and looking forward to Saturday's session. Excellent. Yeah, Winnie was the first customer, so fantastic. Glad you're joining the broadcast today, Winnie. Excellent. Good. Yes. No, tomorrow should be fun, where we just sort of kind of brainstorm and talk about our projects and sort of figure it out. So that's the Zoom call we'll be doing at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So good. I'm glad you're here on that. All right. Let's. Okay. So next one, secret number 2. Ideas to think about for your workbook. So I showed you a bunch of published printed workbooks here, but this may seem overwhelming to you. It may seem like, oh, I can't deal with, I don't want to make a book. I don't know how to do a book. I don't know how to publish it. I don't know about Kindle. I don't know about any of that stuff. So what I want you to do is sort of back up for a moment, and we're just going to talk about, there are other options and ways. In fact, I would say creating a workbook is probably further down the line than most people even need to do. So you don't have to write a full book. It can be one page. One page checklist can be just as effective in a meeting, in a conference, in a workshop, in anything as a whole book is. It's nice to have a book if you have it, but think about things that are simple, like a simple page. And especially when you're starting out, put together one page of key questions, key resources, key tasks. Then it expands to 2 pages to 3 pages. Those become PDFs, and a lot of workbook things these days aren't published as physical books, but are used as PDFs that are sent out to people that you can just use as a lead magnet, or to kind of close a sale, or to help with a process. Even in this, leading up to, leading up the last week or so, I released this document, which is just to kind of get thinking started. And it's just a Word document. You notice I just, let me just flip that there. So I had put this together just to kind of get people going and to sort of prove this. And I just said, here it is. This is it. It could be just one page. I just did this in Microsoft Word. It can be lines, so questions with lines, super easy to make. Questions with boxes, again, super easy to make. Or no boxes. You might just have space. Here's one I put together that maybe you're teaching and you want to put some photographs or steps in here. So very, very easy to make. Look at this one. just a checklist. Just put your checklist items and people check them off. It's just a Word file. So this can be a very easy thing to make, and you distribute it, and it just sort of gives your course an extra dimension, an extra piece of something that's like, oh, they got themselves going. They're doing good stuff here. So that's sort of what I'm thinking about. You don't have to officially publish it. You don't have to publish it at all. This book has never been published. It's just, I sell it off of my website as a downloadable PDF. So again, I don't have to worry about doing that stuff. I just, it's a PDF. That's it. I can treat it any way that I feel like it. Workbooks, study guides, things like that also slow down the online live programs. So we've all been to sessions. I just did a big one in Nashville recently, and you're spending all your time taking notes, especially if it's really good. You're writing what's on the screen, the PowerPoint screen, and you're writing your response to it. If you don't have to write what they have on the screen and just your comments, you as a viewer can slow down. It can be an easier process. Now you're not worrying about missing something. You're just putting your own thoughts, feelings, reactions, all that kind of stuff in it. So it's a way of slowing down the presentation for the viewer by having some kind of worksheets, workbooks, 2-page thing, whatever it is that you have. Workbooks and checklists make great marketing tools. They can be lead magnets if you need something to send to someone to have them sign up for a program. It can be something that you send if you're trying to get a consulting client. You go, hey, start the process, fill this out, send it back. Let's see if we're a good mix. You can do many, many different ways. And it also documents step-by-step activities. I showed you this. Say you're doing a painting course, teaching painting, and you can put together very quickly with some photographs in here the steps, and then people can just write it down. They see, okay, this is the kind of brushes I need. This is the kind of canvas I need. This is how we get the background going, and they can write it down. So you're just step by step. And again, if you're creating this, look at what you're doing and just take your camera and photograph it, each step. It's very easy to kind of do that. We all have cameras in our pockets all the time now, and you can kind of put all that stuff together. So let's see here. All right, so included in the course, and Winnie is looking forward to downloading it, and I know some other people are already downloading it. I have 3 case studies in there, and I just want to talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to go hugely into depth on them, but I was able to interview 3 really cool people, and we had these great case studies. So I'm just going to highlight some key points from them. So I've been talking about having a book and creating a workbook out of it, having a course and creating it out. You can go the other way. And so I really love this interview with Graham Reese. He is a consultant that works with ranchers in Australia. And a couple of years ago, he took 22 ranchers to the West, and they traveled for 21 days all over the West, visiting different ranches. And he gave everybody this notebook that you see right here. Yes, oh, it does show up on the screen. He gave them this logbook, workbook to write down their thoughts, their ideas, what they're doing, that kind of stuff, and document the whole trip. They were learning huge amounts of stuff, visiting sometimes 2 or 3 ranches a day, going to different places, learning all kinds of new things about regenerative agriculture. When that was done, he took that information and he created a book out of it. So here's the book that he created. And I helped him put this together. And it's a documented turn of every ranch they visited, of the whole trip, people's reactions, their feelings, what they learned. They did this kind of stuff. Look at that. It's just crazy. And but put together all the key points from the trip into this book. So this book became a gift to everybody who was there, who went on the journey. They loved it. It was also a gift to all the ranches that they visited. They had no idea this was coming. It just showed up, and people loved it. It just was a way of documenting everything. But it started with a workbook. Now this becomes a marketing tool that they can use for all these different courses. So, for all these different trips that they're going, one that's planned for New Zealand. They did a second one to the United States. But by having this book, it says, oh, this is a serious thing, and people really loved it, and it was great. But it started with a workbook where people were able to write things down and document stuff. It was very simple. It was mostly just some lines. It had the contact information of everybody on the trip. It had a map on the back. You'll see it if you watch, when you watch the video, if you join the course. We go through the whole book, and then we also talk about the benefits of how this has really helped everybody out. The second one, I've already talked a little bit about it, is Ed Gaskin, my friend Ed Gaskin, who wrote this book based on experiences with girls about teen girls in urban environments who had gang members as boyfriends and all the issues that has. It's a difficult topic, and there was a skit that they used, and the girls really liked the skit a lot. It sort of told some of the stories, and they were able to take that skit, expand it some, put it into this book, and then working with the counselors, the youth counselors, they put together some key questions in the back. And that's a key point to remember. You don't have to actually always write the questions that you may be putting in your workbook. You can go to experts and get that information and use it for your book. And they were very generous and gave that stuff. So we had this book that started initially, and then because it had a certain look to it, this is called the Hood book. Didn't even know that existed. It's a category. Girls started buying it because of the gun that's on the front, the pink gun, and the look of it. And they started using it in youth groups and started using it in discussions. And they realized, oh, we have something that's more here. So then we took those questions, pulled them out, created a workbook out of those questions, and then out of that, a leader guide was done where they took basically some other information. So let me see if I can get this bigger here so you can see it. They took some other information that was available, some reports and things from grants and other stuff that worked with this population, and they basically made a book that if you were going to be counseling these kinds of kids and doing these kinds of exercises, you may not have the knowledge that these guys had. You can read this book, you can put this information together, the questions are in here, all this kind of stuff. You can see the lines and questions. Pretty simple, nothing fancy. This entire thing was done in Microsoft Word, the whole thing. And also, this was the cover. You'll notice super easy on the cover. I do have a video where I go through how to make covers, but all we did is, you notice, we just put a band at the top. This was done in the Kindle cover creator. So free, made this for free. Had this graphic, we put it up on Amazon, used the template. This was already there. You just made a cover. So super, super simple. And then the last case study that's in the group, which I think is also really interesting, is by my friend Nancy May, and she's about to publish this book. And this is a book on how to survive 911, primarily for caregivers of elder parents or in those kind of situations. And you'll notice, let's pop this open, and you'll see that this book is filled with checklists. And what's really cool in the video, the case study that I did with her in the video, is her idea is to pull this all apart and create, I think, 12 checklists out of it, 12 different checklists that can be sold. So this is really being designed as a book that's going to be turned into a series of products. All of these have become a product. So, the Ed Gaskin one, he sells those in bundles. People buy in bulk for the youth group. So you're taking a book that might just be a book, and you're giving it another use. You're giving it a broader picture. So this was good. We talked in this video, we get deeply into publishing and marketing and how to market this kind of a product. And so that's cool. It's exciting to do that. So, all right, let's see here. So, and secret number 3 is, you think when you say book and things like that, you have to use in design, you have to know a lot. You don't have to know much of all. This is what I want to just sort of say here is there are tools sitting in your computer today that you can use to create a book. When Ed created this book, he used Microsoft Word. You could do this in Google Docs. You could do it in Open Office. It doesn't really matter. PowerPoint is a great product. If you don't have PowerPoint, you have a Gmail account, go to Google Slides. If you have a Mac, Keynote is right on your machine. It's perfect for doing lines and boxes. We're not doing anything that's very difficult. In fact, why don't I just do a quickie demonstration just to show you real quick how simple this is. Let's see here. I'm going to bring up this, and let's just take this out of screen share. I'll just do this quick because I want you to sort of see it. I'm just going to do the entire screen, and oh, there we go. Let's do this. And I'm just going to pull this down. So this is the book, one of the items that I have that I created. I wrote this book for the this course. This is how I kind of organize everything. I've done this before where you start to make a course and you end up writing a book. So this is the book with all the information and things in it. But let's just come down here, and I talk about the case studies and stuff. I just want to come down here. So this has the template, some of the workbook template elements in it, and I've been trying to think about how to make templates for all this stuff, and templates are included. But because everybody's book is so different, everything is so different, I decided showing people how to make the things and give some elements is a much easier way and more productive for everybody. So let's just go to this page, and I'm just going to bring up a new document. So I'm just in Microsoft Word. Nothing. Everybody's got some version of this. You can do this on Google Docs. You can do it on Open Office. We're not doing anything complex here. And I'm just going to say type a question or task here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to hold the underline key, and I'm going to make a line. Again, there's many ways to make lines. You can do it with tabs. You can do different things. But just for just doing quick, I'm going to copy that. So I just copied it, a couple spaces, and put a line. Line. Whoops, we made one too many, so let's just take out a space. And I often will turn on the invisible so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to copy this. And we'll just put these in here. And that fast, let me just put an extra space there. Let's see here. Let's take this one off. Okay, so that fast, we have created a worksheet. This could be your first question you're going to ask somebody in a discussion or group. This is going to be your second question. This is going to be a third question. You can come up here at the top. I'm going to click up here in the header area. I just clicked on it, or I could go to the view header footer, but I can put course title. Oops, might be if I spell it. Course title goes here. And I'm just going to select it. I'm going to pick a, let's see here. Let me pick a font. I don't know what happened. Oh, right here, my home. I'm just going to pick a font. Impact, let's say. We're going to center that font, make it a little bit bigger. Down at the bottom, you put your web address, contact information, center that. And now let's just take off this, and that quickly you have created a worksheet. It's super easy to do. Let's take this out right here, and we're going to put, maybe you want a box with fill in. I'm just going to go grab a table, insert a table. All of this is built into all of these programs. If I'm on Word, Word or Google Docs or Apple Pages or wherever I'm at, there's a box. I'm going to add some spaces between it. Tighten this up, and there you go. So it's super easy to do, and it's just sitting down and creating it and figuring out the flow of your content and how it goes through your process will allow you to create all this kind of stuff. So let's see here. Let's go back to here and come out of this screen share, and then we'll go back to application. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, Graham. Oh, Graham's here. Yes, Graham's our was the first of the interviews. I just talked about your stuff and your interview that you did on your book. So this is international. We have people from England on this broadcast, and we have people from Australia. Graham's in Australia, Gospel's in England. So we're covering the entire world. So it's very easy to kind of do these things, and that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to go through that tomorrow and kind of look at it. Let's see, who's this? Awesome. That was awesome to see. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Krista. Yeah, I'm going to hopefully you can join the tomorrow. It's going to be taped, and hope you can join the class. And if you do, it'll be taped, and then everybody can get access to it. But that's what I'm going to show, which is why I had trouble making templates, because they're all so different, but it's so easy to make the component pieces in all these programs. So these are the programs that people have: Word, Google Doc, OpenOffice, PowerPoint, Slides, Keynote. You want to jump up to a level with more sophistication? Adobe InDesign. Apple Pages works too. Canva. We'll be doing lots of stuff with Canva. It's my go-to program for making cover art. The cover art of the a lot of this stuff is made with Canva. It just works so well, especially if you're not publishing your stuff. It works fabulous because it works great in PDF files. So, and then we have Pixabay and stock photos. If you need photos for things, it's all available and it's all free. So it's all out there. So some of the products you can make, I just put this here because one of the things that has happened to me, and it's the result of, let me just pull my book out, is this process of looking at your content and pulling out different pieces of it is repurposing your content. Something that I've talked about a lot over the years, and I'm a big fan of, is repurposing your content. So if you look at this book, so this book right here, which was my music chord book documenting how I learned to play all these different instruments it took about 8 years to put this book together. It's my first real book, and then I made 49 others after that. But out of this book, I have created 3 of these books, different kinds, different ways, different sizes. I've created posters. I've created t-shirts, mugs, pillows. I've done a left-handed version. I had somebody call me up one day and say, can you take this? This is basically for right-handed guitar players, which I never even thought about when I made it. And they said, I just realized I could flip things around and make a left-handed version. So all the things that you see on this slide here are all products that were made from one book. The same thing happens with going down the workbook route, the checklist route, the journal. I'm getting a little tongue-tied. So here's just a list of some of the things that you can make by doing this. And you can sell all of these things. And especially today with print on demand and broadcasting, distribution, publishing, advertising, and marketing, all those gatekeepers have fallen, and you can get access to everything. Pretty much all of it is free. So broadcasting, we're broadcasting right now. It's going on YouTube. It's going on Facebook. It can go all around the world. Publishing, that's Amazon, and print on demand, there's no cost there, just the cost of you making it but not putting it up. Marketing, you can use social media for marketing. Advertising, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, social media is marketing, and then manufacturing is print on demand. So I don't have mugs and books and things. I don't have any inventory, and I sell stuff all over the world by repurposing it. So that's what I mean by thinking in this manner. We're just talking about pulling out workbooks, but you can do a lot. So you can have a book and a workbook or a checklist. You form a bundle. It's more valuable. You can take a workbook, checklist, add videos to it. You have a course. It's a single expanded book and workbook. You can put them all in the same book if you want. So my music book, actually, everything is in the book. You just say, go photocopy it, or I pulled it out. Discussion pages, exercise sheets, a leader guide, right? So that Ed took a book and a workbook and a leader guide. He made 3 products. No inventory. He's using Amazon. You can describe each section of this, do an matching audio that goes with it. You can do videos that go with it. I could easily take this book and I could take each section and do a descriptive video that went with this. So fill in your book title, fill in your subtitle, fill in, boom, 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 talk a little bit about it, do one for each of the 9 chapters that are in here, 9 sections, and now I have a product. So that's more valuable than the book. So I can sell the book, I can sell the book plus the workbook, I can sell the book, workbook, and videos. It just keeps expanding. So create videos. If you have a podcast or you're video casting or doing anything like that, incorporate a workbook, worksheets, downloadable sheets into your podcast. You can do things like, hey, if it's every month or week you're doing this, you can say things like, be sure you download the worksheet. Go to xyz.com, download the worksheet. It goes along with the podcast. I'll have some exercises somewhere. You'll say, hey, if you check out on page 2, I'd love to see you fill that out. Now you're building this sort of fear of being left out. Like, people want to participate. You can make that, it expands your product line. And you can also cross promote. I do this all the time with my books. And you'll notice in the back of one book are all the other books, right? So somebody can come into your product stream at many different places, and wherever they are, they get to see the whole picture. So you get one sale, maybe you get other sales. So we're making these books and trying to make some money out of it. So that's just some of the things that you can do with that. So I hope that makes some sense. Tomorrow we're going to be, those of you who join, we're going to be doing a Zoom call and just sort of digging into everybody's sort of personal stuff and looking at it. But I'd love to be able, if you have just 10 minutes here, just describe sort of the product, the new Workbook Masterclass, if that's okay with everybody, and just the component parts that are in there, and sort of see what it is I'm offering, what I've been working on for the last 3 weeks. So if that's okay with everybody, hopefully that is. I will just sort of jump in, and if there's any final questions, we'll take that. So what I've done is put together a variety of different materials, taking you through this same process, but with more detail. So there's the workbook examples, where I really go into more examples. I go way deeper into the hidden treasures of your content. It's a video I kind of walk through all that stuff and really make you look at the content you have, whether it's a book or it's coaching or any of that kind of stuff. Some key tips, key things I pulled out of it. Things like, you don't have to publish a whole book, one page. In fact, that's how I think you should start. Just one page. Just do one piece of paper. Try to get that done, and then market that, put that up on your website, and have people download it. So that's sort of get things started. We have the 3 case studies in here. The Graham Reese one, where he takes a workbook to a book. So we talk all about that. He had Gaskin's case study, where he develops the book, the workbook, the leader guide, and he talks a little bit about how he came up with that, and he used other people's content, especially his leader guide. Was a nonprofit had written a report, and they'd kind of put it on a shelf, and that's it. It sat there. They had paid, they got money to do it, and they didn't do anything else with it. He knew about it and applied a lot to this sort of youth counseling stuff. He said, "Can I put that into my book?" And they were thrilled to have it reused again. Then he went, "Oh, maybe there's other stuff," and he went out and found all kinds of stuff. He didn't write everything that's in this book. He just curated it. He put it together. And then we have the Nancy May, where I really dive into, she's just about to release this book. In fact, what you're seeing, what I showed you, was the proof with the spiral on it. And we talked a lot about marketing, how to take those 12 little packages that she has and use them to do a lot of stuff. So I love those. I've never done sort of case study videos before and really dug into stuff, and they came out great. I was really happy with them. So we have 2 books that are in here. I ended up, as I said to you, I wrote a book putting this together. So it's really my notes that it's there. Everything's there. Examples of things I was doing. It's written down what I was saying. And then I also put together my tips and resource book of if you're going to go down the publishing route, you might need photographs, you might need some audio stuff, you might need editing services, you might need all that's in that book. So those are included. They're both 2 PDF books, and they're including. Just download them and print them out and kind of go from there. They also have, then I kind of dive into all the steps. So I talk about publishing your workbook, different ways that you can publish it. So it's not just like on Amazon, like as a Kindle book, but as a PDF. You can publish as PDF, you can publish as Word, just look at it. Marketing your workbook, different ways. And, we touched a little bit about cross-promoting, using social media. So we kind of cover that. Design 101 for workbooks. This is one I just covered. I'm not covering it in this presentation. Probably cover some of it tomorrow. but just some basic guidelines, basically keeping consistency, and a little bit about type and the grid. The grid is super important, especially with workbooks where we have checklists and things of keeping things lined up. It makes a huge difference in keeping your workbook looking professional, looking like it's not sloppy, like the charts aren't like this. Let me show you here. It's a very easy thing to do, but it was one of the lessons when I started out as a young designer, and I was working for I was really, it's one of probably the most best lessons ever given to me by a senior designer to me. He was a museum designer. He worked on museum exhibits and things like that. And I did some forms for him. And after I finished the forms, he looked at them and said, all right, I'm going to show you about the grid. And so the grid is just lining stuff. There's an underlying grid on this page. So this page basically is a 3-column grid. And I use this page as an example, actually. And this is in the first column, this is in the second column, this is in the third column. They just line up. If this was off and this one was shorter and this was longer, things start to look sloppy, and it just helps to keep things in order. It helps your reader get through your books correctly. It makes them feel like they're dealing with something that's professional. You have to train your reader how to read your content. So it's having consistent heads treatment, subhead treatment, the type. You don't want things different type sizes and different fonts and all that kind of stuff. So it's just an overview video on Design 101. That's it. So they're making a cover. That was this morning. I made that one just before we started here. I finished it. And there's so many ways to make a cover. And hopefully it's not too confusing. I want people to let me know if it's confusing. Give me reviews. Give me comments, those who have watched it. Because there's just so many ways. There's Canva, and there's Word, and there's InDesign, and there's templates. There's templates built into Word I didn't even really use until this morning. I was, oh, look at that. There's templates in PowerPoint. There's just so many ways to make a great cover for your book, and I kind of try to touch on a whole bunch of them. So that's that. Then the workbook elements. That's what I'm now. The Word template is in there, and I'm going to be getting the PowerPoint one real shortly, and then the InDesign one. Basic things, but just showing you, and there's a video to go with this. Just showing you the basics of how to make these business elements. Workbooks aren't complicated. It's a sentence and some lines, or a sentence and a space, or a sentence and some boxes. That's it. There's not much to it. And all that stuff is built into the program. So I just kind of walk you through how to make some of those different components. And so that's there. And we're going to do in the 3 live Zoom trainings. Tomorrow was the first one, and they'll be recorded, and they'll be in the member area. We'll be talking about Microsoft Office and talking to people, anybody who's there about their projects. I'm going to probably do another one on Monday. That'll be the PowerPoint one, and then probably later in the week we'll do the InDesign one. So just kind of take them up, and you can join in any one of those, or all 3 of them if you want. So this is how it breaks down. These are the elements that are in here. There's the workbook example, the hidden treasures in your content video, the key workbook tips, the 3 case studies, the workbook master book, the Facebook workbook tips and resources book, it's a PDF, downloadable PDF, the publishing and marketing your workbook videos, the Design 101, making your cover video, the workbook elements, templates, MS Word, PowerPoint design, 3 live Zoom trainings, and all of that. Put all that stuff together, and it comes up with some value on it this morning, and it's about $1,450. But for this class, and from this Friday to June 19th, next Friday, the price is $99. And then because this is a special launch and opening, I have a discount code called Workbook Open, and that's the discount coupon that you can use, save you $50. And it brings it down to $49, which is what everybody's been paying, except for the really early adopters who got in early. Everybody else has been paying $49, and that's how it works down to that. There's the link that you'll see it right there. That's over there. It's also up in the top and all around, and gives you is that. So those are the component pieces that are in there, and that's it. That's how we do it. So I hope you joined in this. It should be fun. I had a lot of fun sort of putting it together, and let's see if we have some We have a great comment here from, let's put this up, from Graham. It's such a great course. I know he was looking at it earlier today, so that was kind of fun. So, and that's it. So I hope that works for you guys. And all of this is available, and it's all live now. And I've been putting it up over the last week. And there we go. So any questions? I'll hang here for a little bit if there's any questions that you have, and I can or demonstrate something, and we can kind of go from there. So. All right. So anybody who signs up, the link is there. The link is above. Oh, let me show you where that is, how that works. I can do this really easily. And let me leave this, stop the screen for a second, and we will go to screen share. And I want to show application. So this is what happens. Let's see, I think it's right. It's this one, I believe. Nope, wrong one. Let's get the right one. And I can show you what this looks like. Application, it's this one. All right, let me see. Yeah, I think that's the one. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so share this one. So this is what the class looks like. I use Gumroad as the place that I put it. And so you just come in here, you just click the I want this button, and you can read about it. You can actually watch the Graham case study. It's right here on the page where you buy the course, and you just have to click right here, and that will play, and you can watch that. You can all the things that are in here, and 30-day money-back guarantee is right down here. There's a great quote from Graham, and then you just press this. I want this. And it'll put in your credit card stuff and hit pay. And you will be taken to, you'll get this, view content. And everything will be loaded right here. So you'll just be able to download or watch it. Everything has been released, so you can download all the videos yourself, or you can stream them. And you'll see it's all just in here set up. There's the Masterclass, different types of workbooks, the hidden treasures, the workbook tips, the 5 tools to make the tools to make your workbook, publishing book, the marketing your book, the design 101, and then the cover. And then we have here, these are the, let's get started. This is the worksheet that I used earlier. It's right here in 2 different formats. The case studies are here. Again, you can watch them, just stream it, or you can download them. And then we have the templates down here. You can download those. And these are the 2 PDF books. So this is the tips and resources book is right here. And now I'm using Gumroad. You can actually send this to a Kindle, which is really cool. I don't have a Kindle. I just have an iPad. But this can go to a Kindle. So that's kind of neat. You can have all this information on a Kindle. And then this is the hidden secrets. This is the whole book. So all of that's available. It's easy to get. And you can give it a rating. Love a rating, love a review. And for anybody that buys it, and any comments and things like that would be super cool. Love any comments that people go through it. Let me know what's good or bad, and it's if there's something needs to be fixed, we can do that. So let's do this, and we'll put this back up right here. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'll let that up for a second, and then if there aren't any questions, I will. We will go on. So let me just run down just one last time. So you have the workbook, you have the hidden treasures book, video, you have the key workbook tips, the 3 case studies, workbook masterclass, publishing videos, design videos, the templates, and all for $49. Make sure you use this coupon, Workbook Open, and there's a link up at the top, or if it's YouTube, it's down below. Or wherever it is. All right. What's the question here? It says, once you pay, how long are the PDFs available for download? They're there. I mean, there's no time frame on them. You'll have them forever, basically, until that course comes down or something. But no, it's the launch is only from today to next Friday is the launch period of sort of getting things out, sort of restricted to 50 people, just so we can manage it and make sure we have Zoom calls with good dialogue. But the material is there and you can download it whenever, and there's no time frame on it. It just kind of goes. So great question. So there's no time frame. So it's lifetime there as for the long as the course is up, which it's just brand new, so it should be up for quite a while. So thank you. Good question. Good question. All right. And we'll put that there. That was awesome. Thanks, Krista. That was great. Thank you for joining in the presentation today. So, all right. So I'm going to wrap that up. I think that's great. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'd love to see you in the Workbook Masterclass for learning about making workbooks, checklists, and journals. And anybody who signed up, you'll get the email for the Zoom. And I will see you tomorrow. All right. That'll be fun. 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. It will be taped, and I'll put it in the group so you can get it if you miss it. But it'd be fun to sort of talk to everybody and learn about some products. And so that'll be kind of cool. Great. All right. Thanks, Krista. Fantastic. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.